Now, moving on, the Africa Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, CDHRS, joined forces with partners to organize a forum for NGO participation in the 79th Ordinary Session of the Africa Commission on Human and People's Rights. The forum brought together representatives and stakeholders at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center on Saturday.
The Africa Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies teams up with non-governmental organizations to strengthen human rights structures and mechanisms across the continent. This three-day forum is part of joint efforts with relevant partners to promote the active participation of non-governmental organizations in the 79th Ordinary Session of the Africa Commission on Human and People's Rights. This three-day forum is part of a joint effort with relevant partners to promote the active participation of non-governmental organizations in the 79th Ordinary Session of the Africa Commission on Human Rights and People. This forum, held at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Conference Center, brought together dignitaries and stakeholders on the theme, The Year of Education, Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century, Building Resilient Education Systems for the Increased Access to Inclusive, Long-Life, Quality and Relevant Learning in Africa.
Education stands as a cornerstone of development, democracy and human rights. It is not a mere path to personal advancement, but a fundamental right and a collective responsibility. Quality education empowers individuals, fosters equality and drives inclusive growth, yet the challenges in our education systems are stark. Millions of children remain out of school, denied the transformative power of knowledge and opportunity.
NGOs have been major catalysts of development and equality in the face of adversity, advancing human rights across the African continent. Higher Education Minister Professor Pierre Gomez disclosed that the theme of the 79th session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights holds a thematic tone in advancement of human rights.
Human rights education is of paramount importance in an African context due to its potential to address long-standing challenges and advance social progress. In Africa, where issues like poverty, inequality, and conflict persist, human rights education plays a crucial role in promoting social justice, equality, and peace. It empowers individuals with the knowledge of their rights and responsibilities, fostering a culture of respect for human dignity and diversity.
Deputizing for the chairperson of the Africa Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, Vice Chairperson Ramatoulaye Janet Jai-Sala, highlighted efforts to empower African youth for sustainable development in the continent.
We're empowering Africa's youth, propelling them towards the shores of economic prosperity and social harmony. However, as we chart our course towards sustainable development, we cannot ignore the dark clouds of unconstitutional changes of government. They gather ominously, casting shadows across the democratic landscape and threatening the very foundation of our continent's stability. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, picture democracy as a massive baobab tree, its roots embedded in the soil of the rule of law and governance. Yet when these roots are shaken by military coups, political unrest, and government takeovers, the tree trembles and its branches quiver with uncertainty.
The Gambia, under the former President Yahya Jammeh, witnessed a pervasive of various human rights violations against civilians, forceful disappearances, and extrajudicial executions that demand effective transitional justice and reforms to strengthen the country's emerging democracy. The Africa Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies is a leading human rights advocate, promoting democracy and good governance on the African continent with a legacy of transformative impact, empowering individuals and organizations to champion change and promote a just and equitable society across Africa. Fatou Deba, for GRTS News.